conduct, short court martials, apart from the routine disciplinary procedures, are always invoked to make sure that the erring personnel is dealt with.
We've had to it conclusively. Brigadier General Osman,
I'm not getting you.
Have any of the personnel of the military or security personnel been found wanting and dealt with conclusively?
A lot of them. A lot of them. At the beginning, I made mention where a soldier was sentenced to death. And if you recall instances of what happened, take for instance in Anambra State some time back, where soldiers molested a disabled person, you know, disciplinary action was taken against them. And so many other, disciplinary actions were taken against reported cases of acts of indiscipline or unprofessional conduct by our personnel. And it will continue. We don't tolerate any act of indiscipline, particularly, the violation of human rights or rules of engagement by any of our personnel. But what we want people to understand is that we have always been doing our best, and you look at the measures being taken. Apart from the normal military justice system, we have established the human rights desk, and beyond that, we are interfacing with other security, stakeholders in the promotion and protection of human rights in this country, be they government establishment and non-government establishments too.
Saying categorically that there is no truth whatsoever in the Amnesty International report?
Well, you have to look at it from the context where they are accusing the security forces, particularly the Nigerian army. And in that case, I would say categorically it's false.
Okay, so there is some level of truth as regards other areas of their report besides that concerning the Nigerian army?
I don't speak for other aspects, but I am speaking for the Nigerian army, and I can tell you all the allegations leveled against the Nigerian army, not responding after 16 hours or aiding and abetting is not correct.
If the Amnesty International, which is an independent, she says they're an independent body, they're a non-governmental organization, and they're here seeking for the best. They're seeking to see that people are able to live peaceably with one another, and then the security and the authorities are able to do their jobs effectively. What would you say would be the best way to resolve this matter, if there should be any resolution?
How independent are they? Definitely, they are serving a particular purpose, and in most cases, it's inimical to the well-being of Nigeria. But that notwithstanding, we are always there for the promotion and protection of human rights of not just Nigerians, but every other individual residing in this country. In the course of our operations, we'll continue to do our best to ensure that we have done that. And it will be good if Amnesty International reach out to us, just like we have made effort to reach out to them, so that these issues could be trashed out. Take, for instance, we have good relationship with National Human Rights Commission, the Nigerian Bar Association, and even the Red Cross Society of Nigeria. Take, for instance, those are in our holdings, the suspected Boko Haram terrorists, they are feeding, their well-being is in conjunction with such NGOs, and that is what we want.
You say that Amnesty International is self-serving and by extension having an agenda to prosecute in Nigeria. Where did you get your information from?
Well, we have made it categorically clear, several instances, and in most cases, they even jump into conclusion without, really investigating the issue. And again, look at their methodologies. In most cases, some of the so-called researches they carried out will normally take place 3 months, 6 months after an incident that have occurred.
Interesting, because people will wonder if you say that they perhaps are, doing someone else's bidding, you must have some empirical proof to show that Amnesty International doesn't deserve to be in this country.
We have evidence.
What's your evidence?
It's not for public consumption. At the right time, we'll make it public.
Okay, so now that Amnesty International is still operating in Nigeria, you by and large say that you are going to file some kind of report to get them out. What?
Definitely, if they continue with
let me
this,
finish. Let me finish on this. Let me finish on this.
Idea.
Amnesty International says that they are Nigerians and they're going nowhere. What's your take on that?
Well, some of the staff working for Amnesty International, there is no doubt about the fact that they are Nigerians, but they represent an institution that is all out to destabilize the country, and that will not be acceptable if they continue along that way.
What will it take to resolve this crisis between the army and Amnesty International?
Well, what I want you to understand, you have to go back to 2016. The Nigerian army went out of its way to invite Amnesty International. That will tell you how well we mean, you know, in the protection and promotion of human rights. If only they took that all-life leave